Call this meeting of the Johnson City City Commission to order for this Thursday, June the 16th, 2022. We're meeting in the Commission chambers at the Municipal and Safety Building. And with the meeting called to order, I'll invite Pastor Godfrey Wanyama to come and lead our invocation, if you'll please stand.
Thank you so much for an opportunity to lead you through this, and I want to take this opportunity to welcome and recognize Janet Jennings, Aaron Timothy, Dr. Todd Flower, Joe Wise, the mayor, Jenny, Commissioner Jenny, John Hunter, Commissioner, and Kathy, City Manager. You're most welcome, and the entire house. In honoring God, shall we pray together as we open this meeting? Father, in the name of Jesus, we turn the glory to you for who you are. I really want to thank you for the men and the women who are under the roof of this house. And Lord, I know that nothing happens without a leader. So these leaders who are committed to leading your people, I pray that, Lord, you lead them and give them the wisdom they need to handle their day-to-day challenges and tasks as they continue with leading your people. And I pray that as they continue with this meeting, I pray that, Lord, you guide them and help them to see things the way you see them. In Jesus' name I have prayed. Amen. Thank
You'll
you.
join me in the pledge. Turn and face the flag. I pledge
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Mayor, your first order of business is the approval of the minutes from the previous two meetings.
All right, first item, I guess, is the June 2nd meeting. You'll want to do these together or apart, Ms. Jennings?
Apart, please.
Apart. So we need a motion.
Move approval.
On 3.1, we have a motion to
Second.
approve and a second. If there's not objection, we'll call the roll.
Commissioner Brock?
Yes.
Commissioner Hunter?
Yes.
Commissioner Murphy?
Yes.
Vice Mayor Fowler?
Yes.
Mayor Wise?
Yes. And the second is the consideration of the meeting minutes held on June 9. If you need to take a minute to read those. It was a
I'll
3-minute meeting, so they're very short.
I will move for approval.
All right, we have a motion and a second. If there's not objection, we'll call the roll.
Commissioner Brock?
Yes.
Commissioner Hunter?
Yes.
Commissioner Murphy?
Abstain.
Vice Mayor Fowler?
Abstain.
Mayor Wise?
Yes. That was a close one. It
We
almost
needed
didn't
that
pass.
vote, yeah.
The next order of business is a presentation honoring Andy Marquart.
Andy, come on up. You thought you were here because of the budget, and maybe you are. We have a proclamation for you. We regret that you're leaving us. We would talk you out of it if we could, but let me read this proclamation. Whereas Andy Marquart has served with distinction as the president and CEO of the Hands-On Discovery Center and Gray Fossil Site for the past 9 years, welcoming visitors here to Tennessee from all 50 states, successfully increasing the Discovery Center attendance by 67% and the fossil site attendance by 280%. And whereas Andy has been actively involved in the community, serving as a member of the board of directors of the Blue Plum Organization, the Johnson City, Jonesboro, Washington County Chamber of Commerce, and Junior Achievement of the Tri-Cities, Tennessee and Virginia. And whereas Andy has served with distinction as a member of the Johnson City Convention and Visitors Bureau Board of Directors since 2013, serving as its chairman for the past 4 years during a critical period of strategic planning, reorganization, and expansion of the organization. And whereas additionally, Andy also serves as a member of the Northeast Tennessee Tourism Association, NETA, board of directors since 2015, serving as its chairman for 2 years during this period. And whereas Andy has been recognized and honored for his community service by NETA as the 2019 Tourism Leader of the Year and selected by the Business Journal as a 2016 honoree in its 40 Under 40 Young Professionals program. Now, therefore, be it resolved by the Johnson City Board of Commissioners to recognize and honor Andy Marquart for his dedicated service and contributions to Johnson City and the Northeast Tennessee region this 16th day of June 2022. So I will give you that. We will miss you.
Wow, wasn't expecting this. I'm glad I dressed up. I'll just keep it brief. I just want to say that I've lived in Missouri, Arkansas, Florida, and Northeast Tennessee, and I've been here for 9 years. And this is the first time I'm leaving someplace, and I feel like I'm leaving home. It wasn't an easy decision to leave, and I'm sure I will be back. But I want to just thank Brenda. I'm sure you had a lot to do with this, and then obviously the commission and mayor. I really appreciate the recognition, and Johnson City's in great hands going forward. So thank you.
Thank you very much. Tell us where you're going.
Columbia, South Carolina.
Okay. So we'll come visit. You can send some people our way.
So, Andy, before you go, I think as you leave the door, there's a non-disclosure form you have to sign if we let you go. You cannot take any visitors from here and bring them to Columbia. Okay. Thank you for everything you've done.
Appreciate you very much. Thank you for everything.
Thank you, Andy. Next order of business, Mayor, is the consideration of a beer license application for Ram One Inc. At 909 North Roan Street.
I think we may have, did we have changes to our agenda that we needed to make?
Yes, we need to add an item to the consent agenda for a change order, for a vendor change order for mowing services for the Public Works Department.
Okay, where would you like to put that in consent?
If we can put that as item
Under general?
Under general, 7.1.2. And that's a change order.
And then we had a guest with us also from the County Election Commission. So we'll come to that in just a minute. I think section 11 was to be stricken, correct?
Yes, that was an error on the part of the agenda.
Okay, so adding the Election Commission, we'll do that maybe before the licenses, is that all right?
Can we do it now?
Yeah, that's, okay. And then, do we need to approve changes to the agenda before, I believe Ms. Jennings is going to want us to do that.
Move for approval.
Okay, we need a motion to approve. We have a second. We'll call the roll on the modifying the agenda.
Commissioner Brock?
Yes.
Commissioner Hunter?
Yes.
Commissioner Murphy?
Yes.
Vice Mayor Fowler?
Yes.
And Mayor Wise?
Yes. We're going to get to the beer license in just a second. The Election Commission, if you'd like Dana to come up and give us your spiel.
Hi, thank you for hearing me tonight. I'm Dana Jones. I'm your Washington County Election Administrator, and I'm just letting you guys know that you can start picking up petitions to run for the city election on June 20th. Those have to be back in my office by August 18th at noon. And early voting for Johnson City in the state primary and the county general starts July 15th. And we're very, very grateful that we have 2 early voting locations in Johnson City for your residents to vote in, and that's Freedom Hall and ETSU once again. And just so that you guys know, if you do go to ETSU, you do not pay for parking. We have reserved parking for all of our Washington County voters, and we also have handicap access there for your voters. If you guys have any questions, I'll be more than happy to answer them.
I'd just like to say thank you to your administration and to the Election Commission for our last election. I think y'all did it wonderfully, and and you got the results out so quickly, and it wasn't dragged out or a
It
little
was
bit
the same
dribbling
day.
out.
I mean,
Yeah. And all of it at the same time.
I was still
so
awake.
Thank you for what you've done, and
You're welcome. I greatly appreciate it. We have an awesome team, and they really appreciate the positive feedback. And hopefully, we'll continue to go down the journey so that in 2024, we hope to have voting centers. So that means on Election Day, you can go to your precinct or any precinct out there. They operate kind of like early voting. So if you work in Johnson City and you live out in the county and you don't have time to get home, you can go to any precinct you want. So that's where we're heading.
Brilliant.
So if I get everything in line these next couple of elections, our state legislators will be presenting that for Washington County, and we will be the ninth county to be able to do that.
Well, that's
Very
great.
good.
That's awesome.
So,
What time on the 20th do y'all
what?
open?
Well,
I'll
actually,
race you down there, John.
Asking for a friend. Asking for a friend.
our office hours are from 9 to 4, but if you can't make it then, just let me know. I'm usually in the office by 7 a.m. Just call ahead and I'll let you into the courthouse. I'll
All
meet
right,
you down there.
Now you're
Okay.
just service there.
Uh, well,
The overachiever here.
Well, and to echo Jenny's comments, I appreciate all the work you and your team have done in literally just making it safer to vote. I mean, for those running for office and those just trying to park and go vote. So I appreciate your site selections and the work y'all have done.
If there is any feedback you have, positive or negative, I'm willing to work with anybody. Just give me the opportunity and tell me what we can do better, and I assure you we'll do everything we can to try to implement it if it's within our capability and within the state guidelines.
I think I'd heard Jenny mention before that it'd be nice if Dr. Enough's and moon pies were supplied to.
Yeah, for sure, for sure.
So we'll be looking for those. Thank
Well,
you.
I will tell you that
Who needs
some
a
of our
sticker?
neighboring counties have agreed to announce their early voting numbers every day along with us, and we hope to report those every day in the paper and maybe get the radio to pick it up too, so every morning you'll hear early voting numbers, and maybe that will get more people to the
And
precincts
for
to vote.
clarity, you don't mean early voting, how people are voting, you just mean the number of people on any given day who have voted.
Yes, sir, so sorry if I
Yeah,
missed
no, I
it.
just want to make
No.
sure for anybody
Yeah.
who's watching, we're not talking about a day-by-day
No,
accounting of who's
no,
ahead.
just total number. Yeah, we don't count the votes until
Yeah.
Election Day. So, yes, sir, thank you for clarifying that for me.
That's great.
And if there's anything the city can do to help get voter participation up, I'm sure, Ms. Ball, we would work as a partner with the Election Commission to do whatever we can.
Okay. Well, I can't tell you how grateful we are for Freedom Hall. I just cannot tell you how grateful we are. We appreciate that partnership.
Thank
And we
you.
want to be a good steward.
Thank you.
Thank
Appreciate
you.
it.
Thank you, guys.
Thank
Have a
you.
blessed day.
You too.
Now beer license.
Yes, I'm sorry. Now I will just read that again so we can make sure we get that into the record. Thank you, Mayor. So this item is a consideration of beer license application for Ram 1, Inc., at 909 North Roan Street, Johnson City, Tennessee.
Come on up. If you'll give your name and business address, please.
Good evening, everybody. Ram 1 INC, located at 909 North Round Street, Johnson City, Tennessee.
And have you read the rules and regulations concerning the sale of alcohol in Johnson City?
Yes, sir. I also have one in the store in Johnson City, too.
Okay, and you agree to abide by those rules? Again?
Yes, sir.
Okay, thank you. Is there a motion on this beer license? Move for approval. We have a motion
Second.
and a second. Is there any further discussion? We'll call the roll.
Commissioner Brock?
Yes.
Commissioner Hunter?
Yes.
Commissioner Murphy?
Yes.
Vice Mayor Fowler?
Yes.
Mayor Wise?
Yes. So congratulations. Tell us about your business.
I have a convenience store without the gas. We sell everything pretty much. Grocery, candies, cigarette, tobaccos, stuff like that.
Well, we wish you well. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, everybody. I appreciate that.
Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Next item, Commission, is item 5.2, a consideration of a beer license application for Mellow Mushroom at 2929 North Roan Street, and staff recommends approval.
If you'll give your name and address, please.
Yes, it's Travis Rutter, and it's for Mellow Mushroom, Johnson City, 2929 North Roan Street.
And have you read the rules and regulations concerning the sale of alcohol inside the city limits?
Yes, sir.
And do you agree to abide by them?
Yes, sir.
All right. Is there a motion? Move for approval.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. And if there's not objection, we'll call the roll.
Commissioner Brock?
Yes.
Commissioner Hunter?
Yes.
Commissioner Murphy?
Yes.
Vice Mayor Fowler?
Yes.
Mayor Wise?
Yes. So congratulations. Is there anything you'd like to tell us about Mellow Mushroom?
Yeah, I mean, the restaurant's been there about 13 years. It's just been a transfer of no ownership, so we'll just try to carry the mantle.
It seems like it just opened,
I know.
but 13 years
Yeah,
apparently.
it's 13 years. Yeah.
Well, thank you.
Thank you.
Congratulations.
Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thank you. The next order of business is street closures. Item 6.1 is a road closure for the Johnson City Library for June 23rd, 2022. Andy?
Hello. So the Johnson City Library has requested a soft closure of King Street for their summer reading program from 9 a.m. to 12 p.m. on Thursday, June 23rd. A special events committee has reviewed, and we find the closures appropriate, and we would recommend approval.
Is there a motion or a question for staff?
Move for approval.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. If there's not objection, we'll call the roll.
Commissioner Brock?
Yes.
Commissioner Hunter?
Yes.
Commissioner Murphy?
Yes.
Vice Mayor Fowler?
Yes.
Mayor Wise?
Yes.
Maybe
And-
Commissioner Hunter could tell us what that's all about.
Oh.
Well,
You're on
let's
the
put it-
library board.
He missed the last.
Or Andy could.
The one that we just did, for the summer reading program, they're going to have a unicyclist on that portion of King Street there in the JC Logo area. So all the kids are going to be out there learning how a unicycle works and watching them ride around in that area. So that's why we're doing that street closure.
They take adults
Thank
to
you.
learn?
Yeah,
Are
absolutely.
you wanting to sign up?
Well, what haven't I done yet? I mean, that's my motto this year.
What's next?
The next one is also a street closure request for the library for July 9th. Andy?
Yeah, so library has requested a soft closure of Millard Street for their LibCon event, as outlined in the provided site plan from 10 a.m. to 3 p.m. on Saturday, July 9th. The Special Events Committee has reviewed and would recommend approval.
Is there a motion?
Move for approval.
Is a motion and a second. Are there questions for staff? Or call the roll?
Commissioner Brock?
Yes.
Commissioner Hunter?
Yes.
Commissioner Murphy?
Yes.
Vice Mayor Fowler?
Yes.
Mayor Wise?
Yes.
Thank you all.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Andy.
Now we're to the consent agenda, and I will start with Commissioner Murphy. Is there anything you wish to see pulled, remembering, of course, also the addition of 7.1.2?
Yes, sir. I would like to pull 7.4.1 and 7.4.2.
All right. Vice Mayor?
Sorry.
Vice Mayor?
None for me.
Commissioner Brock?
7.1.1, if we could just have a quick review of that, and 7.2.1.
All right, well, we're going to talk about everything then.
I think they got it all.
Okay, there's nothing left. All right. So we'll go, I guess, in the order they're presented. Commissioner Brock has asked to pull consideration of a resolution approving the use of the American Rescue Plant grant to partially fund the Lower Brush Creek 42-inch Interceptor sewer contract. Commissioner Brock, what questions do you have?
Just, this is an add-on from what our original approval was of the ARPA funds, and just a little bit about the project and the cost.
Thank you. Mayor and Commissioners, this is, as was referenced, this is additional ARPA money that was targeted for infrastructure, specifically for water sewer. It was issued in early 2021 by the federal government. The Treasury date where the rules came out for the states to either accept it or not accept it was in March of 2021. The state of Tennessee is one of the states that did accept it. It took them, they went through a draft allocation rules proposal in the fall of 2021 that had the funding coming through the individual counties. There was a lot of comments that there should be direct allocation to over 200 cities and water sewer systems. That was later revised to, the allocation was a direct allocation in December of 2021, and the city got approximately $7.8 million as direct allocation for water, sewer, stormwater improvements. The rules then for the disbursement application. State went through a number of revisions of those between January and about the end of March. They started accepting letters of interest. The actual application documents did not get released till about 45 days ago. The challenge is that the money has to be spent and invoiced to the state by the fall of 2026. Now, that sounds like a long time down the road, but with supply chain issues and to spend close to $8 million for heavy civil projects and design those projects and bid them and get them under contract, we talked internally with the city manager, and we believe that this was the best way to utilize the city's allocation. It's a project that is staging now. It's been designed. It's been bid. You have awarded the bids. Contractor will be starting soon. We've talked to the state on it. We believe that it's a project that will meet their criteria that they had focused the money for. And so that's the background on the project. We have to have a project that meets a very aggressive grant schedule, and it has to be a project that's ready to be underway, and this is a perfect project for that.
Are there other questions?
Just, will this now kind of secure that project fully funded, and what is the timeline going forward now?
Well, the timeline, let's back up from when the grant information is due. We're going to be filing the grant application sometime in July. When the project's complete, we have to have all the invoicing in by the fall of 2026. So that's the tail end of the project. Contractor will start construction this summer on that project and will be complete sometime in the fall of 2023. So that's the delivery schedule of the project because it's already designed bid and you've approved the bids.
So we'll seek reimbursement
That's correct.
through the grant? Okay.
That's right. That's right. And to give you some perspective, $8 million, the capital plans that you guys have, this commission, previous commissions have approved, usually on the debt-funded side, we do about $40 to $42 million of debt-funded capital on a 4-year basis, so 4 to 5 year basis. So you've got an offset on your debt-funded capital for about 1 year's worth of funding. So it's a good deal for the city. If we don't spend the money, it goes back into the state.
Okay. Thank you.
To put it into terms that everybody should understand, we're getting an $11.7 million project done for $3.9 million.
That's correct, sir.
Okay.
Good job. Thank
So
you.
that would seem like a good
Thank you,
deal.
Tom.
It seems like a great deal.
Okay. All right. Next being pulled is 7.2.1. This is a change order on the Wing Deer Park Athletic Field Complex expansion. Commissioner Brock?
Mr. Stahl's making his way up, and just the same kind of questions. I know we had you explained the change and then the timeline for completion of the project.
If you recall, at the April 21st meeting, you approved a bid to expand Wing Deer Park, which would bring the total field allocation, 9 rectangle fields and 9 diamond fields to Wing Deer Park. This is certainly a long-time project that was in development, not only from a lot of discussion through the Park and Recreation Board, but also brought to you multiple times over a period of years. We actually acquired 37 acres adjacent to Wing Deer Park as a site to make this project possible, and we issued the bid. And if you remember, I presented the schematic to you at the meeting, which if I can produce it again, there it is. The 2 exterior fields, the original design contemplated just grass fields, and it did have field lighting, and the commission expressed desire to study bringing this back with a potential change order for artificial turf fields. And you may recall I quoted you a price of $1.4 million, which was an architectural estimate that was some months old. and it was certainly viewed at the time to be a realistic figure because of the trends, inflationary trends going on. But we did, again, award the bid. The architect requested a change order through the general contractor, GRC, and the actual cost to add and convert from grass to turf is $669,450 for both fields. So, needless to say, we were, quick to recommend this to you, and certainly the architect endorsed this recommendation. So, the total project, again, the project timeline began running from the award of the bid and those to proceed back in April. So it is a total project time of 411 days, but it is a substantial completion earlier than that. But this is an active project. I was at a site meeting last Friday, and they are actively beginning to mobilize and move forward. So this doesn't slow the project down in a way. It actually just converts the grass to artificial, and we see no reason not to recommend this for your approval.
Thank you.
Thank
Are there
you.
questions for Mr. Stahl? If
It's
not.
good news, thank you.
Thank you. The next item pulled is a proposal mural project. Mr. Penzola, are you getting up or walking out? Okay, there you go.
You normally would have Cheyenne here, but she's traveling out west. I told her to get here, but apparently she didn't. There are two mural projects being considered. This one is on the walls at the fire station at the corner of University Parkway and Market Street. And so we'll be doing the two walls. This is the wall facing University Parkway, and then the other, let's see, and the other wall will have a deer and that sort of thing. The artist is from Sunrise, Florida. He's of Cuban descent. He has done murals in Ukraine, Iraq, Lebanon, Greece, Spain, Jordan, all across the United States. He's well respected. His go-to is nature and trying to bring biology and art together into a form. And this is the form that the committee is recommending to you. Obviously with various Tennessee flowers and birds of the area, bear and deer. So it brings a vibrancy out, and that's the nature of the artwork. And so it's recommended to you. The second artwork will be on the wall across the street in front of the Legion Street pool. This one will be handled by Miss Leanne Agee. She's local. She has actually done some artwork in the school system. The reason this one's a sort of a whimsical look at dogs and that sort of thing. And the reason that it's recommended is we're working on the plan for the dog park and a bike pump track across the street on the Legion Street property we own. And so this works well with that theme going forward. And so this is sort of the nature of the way she would handle the artwork. It'll have mosaics in it as well. And so the committee, it's a little different. It's kind of fun. So this is the recommendation for that wall. At the end of the day, at that corner, you'll notice we're building sort of a new planted area with stone. You see us working on that, have uplighting on the stone. The artwork will be behind flowers, etc., trees. Then you'll have the dog park and pump track. That should be coming to you in July for approval. That will take care of a renovated quadrant of that intersection. This is the third quadrant. So we think it'll really be a nice addition as you come to City Hall.
Thank you. Are there questions for Mr. Penzola?
I will just say I'm glad you put a golden retriever right in the middle, so I'm gonna go home and tell my Luke that. They're beautiful, Phil.
We have 3 murals. If these are approved, we'll have one starting next week downtown. Then one of these will start in July. The other one will start, I think, in August. And then we're looking at some other ideas. We've got various groups in town looking concepts around town.
Phil, is the one under I-26, is it complete now?
Yes. We'll have to power wash I was talking to Randy, we'll power wash the wall to kind of clean it up a little bit where he didn't paint, but that's a nice piece of artwork, gotten a lot of publicity.
Lot, yeah.
Really helps the image of Johnson City, all this artwork that you're seeing, which is exactly what we intended to do.
Mr. Penzola, if I may ask a question, what is the funding source for these 2 projects?
The wall fell, okay? So we went out for proposals earlier this year, came back at over $100,000. I think it was $104,000, wasn't it, Randy? We said, well, that's gonna be a lot. And I said, well, why don't we put a mural on the wall? So then we went back and looked at the equipment we were purchasing, and we had $65,000 left over that we weren't gonna spend. So we asked to allocate that $65,000 to the repair of the wall and the implementation of these 2 murals. So that's where the money comes from, and that's how we got to this point, specifically with this wall. So we're actually saving money, if you can believe that, saving money for
Because doing the
improvements.
mural is more cost-effective than having the masonry repaired, basically, is that?
It was $104,000 for the mason.
Are there other questions for Mr. Penzola?
I would like to make a comment. I appreciate that we have a local artist involved in one of the 2 projects. But my question is, how are the attempts and what do they look like in inviting local artists to be a part of putting a fingerprint of their work on the city? Getting their involvement, what is it, how do we reach out to local artists? I see there's one, but I don't recall.
Commissioner, in my opinion, Johnson City stands above everybody else. Whether you like it or not, you do. And because of that, I think we should set the stage for the most professional outlook and perspective as we can achieve. And so we go for national searches because we want the top line talent to come to Johnson City to show their artwork. So if you look at the artwork, all the stuff that, the ones that we've put in have been outstanding and have received numerous positive comments. I can't restrict, just like we can't restrict in the purchase of goods and services, I can't restrict it to just the local, folks, because I think we should go for the highest prize. We should get the best and the brightest to Johnson City. And I think that as this grows over time, that Johnson City will begin to, you're already seeing our name out there on the recreation side, you're seeing it on tourism, you're seeing it, the word's out. And I think this is consistent with what we're trying to achieve. We are number one, whether you like it or not. And I
We're going to
want
subject
that,
that to a vote in a minute. You have to be up or down on liking
So
it or
Phil-
not.
I want
Phil-
that to grow.
Phil,
So-
I'm wondering if you could speak to the way we do the call for artists. So there is a process
Yeah.
that we do to ask for a call for artists, and that, I think what you're saying is not just done at a local level, but also done at a national level as well?
We do a national level, and we likely get about 140 applicants. So the the Public Art Committee has a subcommittee, and the subcommittee goes through every artist and what they represent, and they pick out 3 or 4 or 5, and then we pay them to give us their concept of what they would show on a wall. And that's the recommendation that you're seeing. You're not seeing the other 2 or 3. You're just seeing the one that they picked.
So, but Phil, local artists all have the opportunity
Yeah.
to submit.
Yeah, I think that's
a
Commissioner
proposal.
Murphy's question.
Yeah.
If I'm a local artist
Yeah.
and I want to be considered, how would they go about doing that? And they would just be watching your RFPs.
We get local artists into the drawing, but they never seem to be as good as the ones that we're picking, because we're striving to get the best show for the public.
Looking at the list, I mean, it's impressive that you had 65 different artists across the country, 2 of which are in the Tri-Cities. I mean, I think that's a great turnout of applicants. I mean, in a field where, again, it's art, but art means many different things. That's pottery, that's, oil painting, it's murals, and you have to be skilled in your art, to qualify. And so I don't know how many wall and muralists there are, but to get that many to apply to come to Johnson City speaks highly of Johnson City.
Yeah, we do integrate school children into artwork in various forms. You'll see it on traffic boxes. You'll see it next to the transit station. We've had schools involved. We've had the local artists working around the playground. One of the things from the very outset was to grow the culture of art in Johnson City. We didn't feel like it was being done appropriately. We thought, rather than art being indoor and they have to go in someplace to see it, let's take it to the public. So that's what you see with sculptures and et cetera. And it is a huge economic boost for the community if you can grow that. And we're starting to see, I think Nancy Fishman started a new art area over on Commerce Street, and we're getting a few other inquiries. We've got numerous artists around town, and we're trying to pull them out and get everybody involved. We're trying to grow that sector of the economy.
Phil, has the fencing around the Children's Natural Park, has it been completed now? It's amazing. I've been to stand in front of every panel and look at it good.
We still have to bring the panels down the side. They're working on that now. I think they're powder coating parts of it. So there's 84 different panels involved. And then we're actually going to make a showcase out of it and let kids identify animals and pick we've numbered the different things. We're also, you'll see little animals and stuff. It's called Walkabout. I think it won an award last week in tourism. The Walkabout program has different animals, kind of like Greenville has the mice. We have different animals, and they all show up on the Walkabout mural that's in King Commons. And so that becomes sort of a game for kids to play, and we plan to double the size of that this year.
Finding Bigfoot even up there here.
Sasquatch is there.
Sasquatch up that way.
Sasquatch is on the loose in Johnson City. So.
I know where you
Are there other questions for Mr. Penzola? If
Just thank you.
Not, thank you. I think we are at the end of the items pulled. Is there action on the consent agenda?
So moved.
We have a
Second.
motion and a second. If there's not further discussion, we'll call the roll on the consent agenda.
Commissioner Brock?
Yes.
Commissioner Hunter?
Yes.
Commissioner Murphy?
Yes.
Vice Mayor Fowler?
Yes.
Mayor Wise?
Yes.
Mayor, your next order of business is the consideration of ordinance number 4811-22. This is the second reading, not a public hearing, and I'm sure Peyton will show us her chart. We think she should probably get that copyrighted so that no one takes it. This is consideration of assigning an R4 medium-density residential zoning district to approximately 7.2 acres located along Lone Oak Road for a proposed annexation. Thank you, Peyton.
Good evening, Commissioners. I'm going to go ahead and start with our famous slide. And as you can see, you are at this step right here.
Did you do that again? I missed the movement.
Oh, we got the bounce.
Ready?
Okay, I'm watching now.
Yes.
All right, thank you.
So we are at the June 16th meeting, which means that we are hearing the second reading of the zoning assignment. And just as a reminder, I know that this is typically public hearing for rezonings, and this is not going to be a public hearing tonight. The public hearing is going to be at the next meeting on July 7th. So I'm just going to go back over the request really quick to refresh your minds. Again, this is a 7.2 acre territory located along Lone Oak Road, just north of Cherokee Elementary School, and they are requesting a zoning assignment of R4. Other than that, nothing has changed, and again, this will have to come back in front of you for a public hearing next meeting.
Are there questions for staff?
Move for approval.
We have a
Second.
motion and a second. If there's not objection, we'll call the roll.
Commissioner Brock?
Yes.
Commissioner Hunter?
Yes.
Commissioner Murphy?
Yes.
Vice Mayor Fowler?
Yes.
Mayor Wise?
Yes.
Thank you.
Mayor, the next order of business is the third and final reading to establish the property tax rate, appropriate funds, and the budget, adopt a budget for fiscal year July 21, 2022 through June 30th, 2023.
Are
Staff
there questions
recommends
for?
approval.
Okay, there we go.
We have no adjustments or amendments for this reading, and we would recommend approval of the budget.
Move for approval. We have a motion
Second.
and a second. Is there discussion? For those watching at home, we'll acknowledge this is a budget that maintains the tax rate as it is, and so there are not tax increases approved here, and some significant investment being made both in our community, its infrastructure, and perhaps most importantly, in the nearly 1,000 people who deliver service to us across nearly 24 departments of our city. And I think the staff should be commended for achieving all of that with such fiscal discipline. And so if there's not further discussion, we'll call the roll.
Commissioner Brock?
Yes.
Commissioner Hunter?
Yes.
Commissioner Murphy?
Yes.
Vice Mayor Fowler?
Yes.
Mayor Wise?
Yes.
Thank you, Commission. The next order of business is a consideration for a request to proceed with annexation for the SUG property consideration of approximately 58 acres located alongside the Boones Station Road. I think Peyton's going to present that along with Whitney.
Wait, here comes the movement. Here it comes.
Good evening, Commissioners. Again, going back to our timeline, as you see, we are now here. We are at the request to proceed step. So just as a reminder, this is essentially a request coming before the City Commission to proceed with the analysis of this annexation. So this is a 58-acre territory. It's located along Boone Station Road, near its intersection with Sailor Road and Kefauver Road. And they are seeking a zoning assignment of R2C. There are plans to do 219 single-family lots, but again, as we've talked about with annexations, that is non-binding. So this is just something that they've submitted, but is subject to change and is not tied to the annexation. The plan of services is currently being reviewed by all agencies, and it will be heard at a growth management meeting next week, where we will gather information to bring to the plan of services if you guys so choose to proceed with this annexation, and that information will be available for you for the preliminary resolution. Staff recommends approval. And I'll leave you with a vicinity map.
Are there questions for staff?
I was just trying to follow the maps on exactly, this one's a lot better. So to get up to this development, you would,
From town?
yes.
The way I would go, if I was coming from town, is Christian Church Road to Boone Station Road. When you hit Boone Station Road, you're gonna go, you go up and then down, and when you hit the down part of the curve at Sailor Road, that's where, like that down slide off to the left, that's where it is.
Okay. And Boone Station, Christian Church kind of crosses a railroad track.
Yes,
Okay.
and then you make the left on, like a sharp
Got
left.
it, because you can't go right back over the driver's license place.
Are there questions for staff?
I may go ahead and point out, I would let the commission know that we would ask you to hold a work session on July the 7th, and staff would want to walk you through several of the way the annexations are coming through and the requests for annexations, and the way that staff is reviewing them and the considerations for those annexations in terms of the impact on services, the number of estimated households we would expect to come in, individuals, and we have been working closely with the school system as well as all of our utilities to analyze that impact, as well as to provide you with estimated revenues from those, should that happen.
I'd like to request too that we look at it in a cumulative filter as well, because we've been getting a lot of annexation requests here lately, so when we just look at one individually, it's this, oh yeah, we can do this, but then when you add it to others, it's a view we need to look at as well.
So yes, we will look forward to that work session.
Thank you.
Are there further questions for staff?
Mayor, I'll make the motion that we approve and proceed.
We have a motion to approve. Is there a second?
Second.
Motion and a second. If there's not objection, we'll call the roll.
Commissioner Brock?
Yes.
Commissioner Hunter?
Yes.
Commissioner Murphy?
Yes.
Vice Mayor Fowler?
Yes.
Mayor Wise?
Yes.
The next item is another annexation request to proceed with the owner consent for Glaze Farm consideration for approximately 40 acres located at 997 Carroll Creek Road.
Good evening. That says 72 on there. It does, on my screen. But I was talking with the applicant today, and I got really excited about doing the famous slide, and I will not get to. The applicant has requested that he doesn't really want to bring it forward at this time, so the action would, because this was at about 4 o'clock today, it still needs to be placed on the agenda, so the request would be to withdraw this request to proceed at this time until he can bring it forward, as we were trying to decide between the 40 and the 72.
So he wants to withdraw, or he doesn't want to defer action to
If
future
you defer action, you need to defer action to a certain date, and he doesn't know when he wants to pick it back up
Okay.
again.
So we just, I mean, he can just withdraw. We don't have to do anything with that, do we?
It was on the agenda, so I
No,
wanted
no.
to.
But I mean, we don't need to
vote Okay. to
if he withdraws, we just like, okay.
All right.
noted.
We can all
Thank you for
shake our
coming.
head.
Okay.
We'll shake our head.
Okey
Okay.
dokey.
I'll get to do that slide at some point in time.
Okay, all right. Thank you.
Thank you. Yes, and thank you all again. I am coming up on 6 months of service to the city of Johnson City, and I could not be happier. There are a lot of exciting things that have been going on that I wanted to kind of call out, and I appreciate the communication and marketing team helping with this. One of the things we want to make sure is we highlight the events that are going on, and there's just a lot of activity going on. I wanted to call out a couple of things that are happening. This week, we had the opportunity, under the leadership of the JCDA, to meet with downtown merchants, business owners. A lot of businesses, approximately 50 people attended, and we wanted to hear what their concerns were. It was hosted by Mulligan's Gaming Pub, which is getting ready to open. They provided us with breakfast, and again, it was just a huge group of people. There was a great exercise where people got to talk about what they appreciated about downtown, what they saw happening, and what their concerns were. Thanks to the police chief, thanks to Keisha for being at that meeting. We had other staff from our codes office that were there. But we got to hear a lot of really good news about things they were proud of, but you could really feel the excitement in the room around what was going on, all of the businesses that were getting ready to open. So we're looking forward to continuing to work with that group on a regular basis. A lot of the work we're going to do this year, we're going to be working with that group on a downtown parking study and looking at traffic patterns downtown. We're excited to say we have been working with the Johnson City Community Theater. We think a vibrant city has a community theater, and for a couple years they've not only struggled with COVID, but they've struggled with having a building. So we're excited to say that they're coming back, and they will be doing Grease at Freedom Hall. Tickets will go on sale. This is their 135th season of being able to provide community theater here. The tickets will, the performances will be held July 9th through the 17th, and the tickets are currently available on their website. So we look forward to that. Thank you, Keisha, for your work on that front. Tonight, this is my first budget with you all. It may have been a little clunky. I'm sorry I missed one of the meetings, but Mr. Stahl handled it perfectly, and as well as Mr. Trivett. I appreciate their support. But it has been a real opportunity. The biggest thing that city managers do in a year is to produce a budget and put it forward to the commission. So I appreciate your support on that. The other biggest thing we do is present that budget to the community in terms of a way that they can understand it. So if you all will bear with us, we have a presentation that we're going to be putting on the website to talk about the budget and to help folks understand what happens in the budget. And then after this is over, I'll be done with my report and update. just want to say a big thank you to Nick Harrison and the communication and marketing team for putting that together.
And Dustin on the budget.
And Dustin on the budget, yes.
Well, and thank you, Kathy. This was a great budget process that we went through, and it was very clear, and we had all the information and materials that we need, and we had a great opportunity to give input.
Thank you.
While we kept making amendments, right?
So, yes, so
no.
we're at the end of our meeting, correct? Or you're done? Anything further? Because I'm going to turn to the commission for any final comments, but I didn't want to.
No, I'm good,
Okay.
thank you.
Am I going to go with Aaron Murphy first? Or John Hunter? Start with John Hunter since I did that to you last. Commissioner Hunter, do you have any
Sure.
comments?
Again, to echo Jenny's comments, and great job for working with the team 6 months in on the job. You had big shoes to fill, and you've done a great job so far, and we appreciate all your work and your team's work. And earlier tonight, we had Ms. Dana, the election commissioner, come in and speak to us, and I think probably with that, Mayor and Commission and staff, just want to say that I've appreciated serving alongside each of you over the past 3.5 years. When I first came on, we were discussing the concern about stagnant population growth within our region and the need to recruit and probably more importantly to retain our talent and our resources and our citizens. We identified 4 strategic goals, all of which I think positively impact all of our citizens in Johnson City, regardless of age, sex, race, or economic standing within the community. Our economic vitality, the quality of place, future-ready infrastructure, and excellence in government. We work together, and because of it, we've improved the city's bond rating. We've invested in parks and amenities and roads. We partnered regionally to create and retain jobs. And we worked to make government more accessible, transparent, and more community-oriented by rethinking how we make those appointments to these boards and committees. The list could go on as to the things that have been accomplished over the last few years, but I just mentioned those to illustrate our commitment to creating meaningful opportunities for the citizens of Johnson City. And while others are raising taxes, we just adopted a budget that maintains one of the lowest tax rates in the region. And the budget we just approved reaffirms that commitment that we made to these goals. So, I believe, experience, effective leadership, and vision matter. And because of what we've done and what we have yet to do, I just wanted to make you all aware that I intend to run for a second term and how much I appreciate the time that I've had and the ability to serve with you all.
Thank you. Commissioner Brock.
Ditto, all the way around. There is one thing I do want to make a comment on the budget, and it came out in the slides that we saw. The citizens will see debt service on several of those slides. Particularly the ones that stood out were in our enterprise funds and water, sewer, in solid waste and all. My message to all of our citizens is to show and demonstrate that we continue to reinvest and upgrade in the services that we deliver to them. And when you look at cities who don't invest, if they don't invest in their networks for electricity, for your water sewer systems, for all that, and they begin to decline, then you get service that you don't want. And so I'm really proud of all of our department heads who continue to drive forward to always improve what we're doing for the citizens here. So that's a big part of this budget, and that's what we do. And when we issue the debt for those kinds of improvements, it spreads it out over a long term. And so it's just not this generation paying for it. We like generations, a couple of generations away to have the opportunity to help pay for these things as well. So, but John, I'll echo exactly what you said, and I think you framed it up very well. And likewise, I feel like I have the energy and the drive to continue. There are a lot of things I want to do, so I do plan to run for a second term. Yeah, third term. Sorry.
That horse is out of the barn. So, I will say, we had a workshop this afternoon where we looked at our various board and commission and committee appointments that this commission makes. Commissioner Hunter alluded to it. Johnson City is fortunate to have a wealth of quality candidates who willingly put their names forward as eligible appointees, and so the city should be proud of how good a response we've received and just the overall quality of those who have stepped forward. We'll deal with that next month in terms of formalizing some of those appointments. I think at this point we can say we've known for some time. We were anticipating the HUD inspection at the John Sevier, and at this point all indication is very favorable on that. We're waiting the final report, but the critical part seems to be a thumbs up that we've made it through successfully, so we'll know more when we see that final report. But slow and steady progress and good things happening. So, Vice Mayor, are you going to run again? Oh, that's right. We don't have to.
Go ahead. A couple of years to worry about that, thankfully. I'm going to go along the same line on thinking how well we have been moving along in our processes, and it was a really good process as far as the budget this year. I appreciate all the work that went into it because I think it ran very smoothly, and I thank everybody that had a part of that. Part of our go all out is our outdoors is one of the things that we are very, very happy with, that we have available to us and that we put out to those people in marketing to come join us. And I got a note this week that was sent from the CBB people about this weekend happens to be Father's Day. And if you want to take your father fishing on Father's Day, the #1 ranked place in the country for that, Johnson City, Tennessee, according to them. So the people out there are getting that. We have that available here, and hopefully that will keep people coming to visit Johnson City.
And that just proves there's a list for everything.
There is. So anyway, but Father's Day fishing, #1 in the country, Johnson City, Tennessee. So we're very happy about that.
Commissioner Murphy?
Yes, I would like to speak into the 6-month finish line for Mrs. Ball. I've absolutely enjoyed serving alongside you. I think you're doing a phenomenal job, and keep up the good work. I believe we have the right pieces for this team, and I'm glad that John has mentioned he's coming back, and Jenny. So I think we ought to ride it out for another championship if we can. Is it a 2-peat, 3-peat? But when something good is working, then, I mean, you don't fix what's not broken, right? So thank you guys, and I hope that we could keep serving together in this great community we live in.
Thank you. Thank you. Is there anything further for the commission? If not, we'll stand adjourned. Thank you.